So I meant to make this video yesterday as news broke, and I think a lot of us were uh, aware that this was officially being negotiated. A fight that a lot of us have been wanting to see for some time, and that is of now current IBF lightweight champion Vasily Lomachenko facing Gervonta Tank Davis, who is now the official WBA lightweight champion. So when this fight was proposed, I had mentioned to people that this makes in the lightweight division, this fight makes the most sense for both guys. And why do I say that? Number one, I feel Vasily Lomachenko, the one thing that he has not been, I don't want to say awarded, or he hasn't had the opportunity to fight on that kind of stage against a guy like that. Look, for all intents and purposes, in the ring, isn't as decorated as Lomachenko as it concerns just, again, level of opposition, winning titles at 126 pounds in his like second fight against Gary Russell Jr., gets a title at 130, gets another title almost undisputed at 135. So with Lomachenko, like it's he's at the tail end of his career. Let's also put that out there too. But there's really no question marks as it concerns Lomachenko. The thing that's been missing in his career is a big premier fight, like with all the lights on you, pay-per-view, the whole nine, which is what this fight, because of Gervonta Davis, would bring. Now, on the flip side, Gervonta Davis is, I mean, I hate to say like he's like the star and like completely overshadowing anything Lomachenko could do to make what was what would have been a big event, I think, for both of these guys to fight. Because I always say, man, the matchups ultimately are what sell. There are fighters who carry the weight, but in an instance like this, and look, as was proven, even in the Tank and your man and Ryan Garcia, let's not act like Ryan didn't bring something to the table. You know, he absolutely did, and I think the numbers showed that before and after that fight, meaning like what Tank did with Frank Martin in relation to what he did with Ryan Garcia. It's not a shot at Tank. I just think people sometimes have to realize like the events are what sell. And in an instance like with Loma and Tank, that's a situation where you have two guys that are widely known, and it's a premier matchup, which chances are that fight would be, I would say, Tank's probably second biggest outing, because the 1.2 with Ryan, that would have to, I don't even think Shakur does that. I don't even think him and Shakur does like close to that business. Maybe not yet, but with Lomachenko, there's question marks. And the thing with Tank, the thing that's missing with him is he doesn't have a signature win. He doesn't have that signature opponent that you can say, damn it, he beat such and such. Now, some people would argue that Lomachenko at this stage is at the tail end of his career. And I don't know if you look at this as a positive or negative for Tank, where fighting this version of Lomachenko, you know, some are arguing that like he wouldn't get as much credit. I don't know about that, because you can't use the argument on both ways. Like where you can't say, well, you know, Tank shouldn't get credit for that because he fought an older Lomachenko, but then if Lomachenko beats him, like, do we call Tank overrated? You know what I'm saying? Like I think at this stage, you got to give Tank, if he were to win that fight, like you got to give him that nod. But what I was being very adamant about is like, I think what he would have to do, unlike a Devin Haney or unlike a Teofimo Lopez, is he'd have to knock him out. And there's I hate saying good probability, but based on those other guys, Tank has the biggest opportunity to do that, because again, he has the one thing in boxing that every fighter would love to have, a neutralizer. Okay, Tank is a good boxer. Okay, like I think he doesn't get a lot of credit for that, but his bread and butter is that left hand, and that can and has been his biggest weapon, as we've seen him being outboxed, and then it's all it takes. So, but with all that being said, he turns the fight, Lomachenko's turned the fight down. He's stated that he wants to take time away from boxing. He's not really focused on boxing, and which is kind of crazy because, now granted, like some people, you'll hear the term like the money's the motivator, right? Not everybody, I suppose not everybody's like that. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has that frame of mind. But I think for Lomachenko, at this stage of the game, I think he's really just trying to pick his right spot. And I don't think what he wants to do is to fight. And he's kind of suggesting this for Shakur and Tank to fight, and then he'll fight the winner. Because most cases, this is usually what happens. The young bull fights the aging veteran who is still top level, and if the young guy gets that win over the veteran, man, that'll boast up the young fighter. But it's almost like Loma and everybody, they want like there to be a consolidation before Loma decides who he's gonna fight, whether it be Shakur if he beats Tank or vice versa. But the truth of the matter is, man, Tank and Shakur are not fighting anytime soon. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I made this prediction at the beginning of the year, and I'm pretty good with predictions as it concerns not so much of fights. We don't all get them right. I'm talking about when you see like a mirage, right? Like me and Train have a good ability of being able to see like what's down the road, right? I told this to Train. I told this to ROD. I told this to a few other people, like within our chats. There's one guy. When you look at what's Tank's plan B, right? So when you look at 135, you see the names there, right? Like you see a Zepeda, you see against Shakur Stevenson, you see a Keyshawn, you see all these guys, right? Andy Cruz. But what's the reality that Tank is gonna fight any of those guys, right? But I have put one name, particularly after last March. I've put this name on the table, and I am telling you, I'm willing to roll the dice, and I'm willing to bet that there's a high probability. There's a high probability, and Tank has been against making this fight again. But when you look at the cosmetics and you look at the opportunities, right? Because that's the thing with boxing, is like you grab the opportunities as you can. And when you look at what Tank's best option could be in the fall, I'm telling you guys, it could be, I'm telling you, very likely the winner of Pitbull and Rio that's taking place in 2 weeks. Why do I say that? Because that fight is for the legitimate WBA Junior Lightweight Championship, okay? Not a secondary title, not like an interim title. This is for the whole, this would be a legitimate 140-pound title that Tank would now be fighting for. And coincidentally, depending how the fight with Pitbull and Rio takes place, that would be a rematch with Pitbull, who, with all intents and purposes, was one of Tank's toughest fights. So there is a contingency plan already for Tank, okay? And I'm not surprised, and I'm not taking the shot at Loma, but like, I'm not surprised that they're not jumping right ahead to make this fight. Look, I don't think Loma wants to go in that fight if he's not 100% up here, which granted, like, you gotta be. But, you know, you have to believe Tank was looking at that fight with Lomachenko as a big opportunity. But, you know, you always gotta have a plan B. You know, you gotta have your bullets in the chamber. You have to have a plan B. And just the way I look at it, man, I just know how these promoters work. I know how you gotta sell Tank in a fight that is going to draw the casual public to be like, whoa, because the Frank Martin wasn't like a big turnout. The Pitbull fight, and again, you got the Mexican contingency that are gonna go and they're gonna follow, they're gonna ride out for that fight. So Let's see how the Ryo fight plays out. But if Pitbull comes out of there, and/or I think, to be honest with you, even if Ryo comes out of there, it's a new matchup for Tank. And if Pitbull comes out, it's just a rematch that they could sell. So, no Loma this fall, but I am willing to bet Tank is going to be looking at the winner of Ryo versus Pitbull. It just makes the most sense, man. Like look at, it's on the table for you, you know? So, and then with Shakur, you know, we haven't spoken to him. I don't know, man. Like now Oscar's backtracking, like not wanting to do the Cepeda fight, and you know, which doesn't surprise me, but he's in a tough spot, man. Shakur, like, you know, he didn't resign with Top Rank. He was offered like a $15 million deal for 4 fights. He turned it down. So I guess he's going to do this like one and done kind of thing, or maybe what Haney was doing. I don't know, man. I'm like, the thing I get concerned with for him is like he gets in there and he's not fighting like top level talent, you know. So I guess we'll have to see with him. So, but that's pretty much it, man. Loma, Tank, not happening this fall. I'm willing to bet Tank is looking at the winner of Pitbull and Ryo, which is taking place on the undercard of Crawford Madrimov August 3rd. So, and it's on DAZN. I said yesterday that fight was going to be on ESPN pay-per-view. I could have sworn I saw that. Maybe they are offering it. I don't know, but it will be on, unless it's something where, like, if you have DAZN, you can order it there, or if you want to order it on ESPN pay-per-view. Either or, it's going to be there. So, whatever. But that's pretty much it, man. Enjoy you guys' Sunday. Let me know what you think. What do you think about Tank versus the winner of Pitbull Ryo 2 at 140 pounds? Or well, not 2, but, you know, the winner of Pitbull and Ryo. But that's it, man. Enjoy you guys' week. I am out.